surface for this conversation, I want us to reflect on some questions. I want us to answer this on our own. Like, answer it, ask yourself this question and give yourself an answer. Can we move to the next slide, please? So the first thing I want you to ask yourself is, what will happen when a group of divided people they to sit at the same table, okay? But this time they're not sitting to argue, but they sit to listen. What do you think will happen to such a divided people? Or what about when wounds are no longer denied but acknowledged? What will happen? What about when differences stop being threats and start becoming thread in a stronger fabric? So can we move to the next slide so that they will be seeing what I'm talking about? I don't know if I'm audible enough.
Yes, ma, you are audible.
All right, and I needed the next slide. All right. So as I was saying, what do we think will happen when wounds are no longer denied, when we don't deny that, yeah, we were hurt, but we acknowledge it, when we take differences to stop being the traits, but started being traits in a stronger fabric for us to build on. And I believe that as activists and leaders, our strength lies not just in our ideas, right? But in our ability to come together, even when we know that it's very hard to do so. So today, together we aren't not going to be talking about collaboration as a buzzword, but today we'll all be exploring collaboration as a bridge to reconciliation. We're going to be exploring collaboration as a healing, and we're going to be exploring it as a way to create a new identity. So what is this collaboration? What is all this collaboration? We'll be talking about collaboration, collaboration, and collaboration. Like, I want to take a response from two people of what they think collaboration is. The first two people to raise their hand will address that. What do you think collaboration is? What does it mean to collaborate? Okay, I can see Benson Chimdundu, sorry if I didn't pronounce your name quite correct. And the
Okay.
second person,
Good evening, everyone. I can say collaboration. It's like working together, or let me say, working hand in hand with someone.
okay, thank you very much for that response. Yeah, collaboration is you working hand in hand or together with someone. So I saw a hand, but unfortunately I couldn't see it again. And we need the second response so that we can go ahead. What do you think collaboration is? Okay, Emily, please. Yes, I can see hand off, and it was Memuna Haruna. Yes, Memuna, please.
Good evening.
Evening.
Good evening, Memuna. You can go ahead.
Okay, I think collaboration is working together across differences, which might either be political, ethnic, like any sector, to try to achieve a common goal.
Well, that's quite explanatory. Thank you very much, Memuna. And I think we're going to be moving. Since I say I'm taking few responses and we already did that. So to me personally, I think collaboration is more than just working together. I think it is about shared purpose. I think like you won't just like when I come and work together with you without having like something in common, we are not really collaborating. We're doing something else. We might be working together but not collaborating. And collaboration is built on trust. Without trust, there is no collaboration. Without empathy, there is no collaboration. And without mutual respect, I can't be working with you when I don't respect you and call that as a collaboration. No, I'm not collaborating with you. Another thing we should notice is that any movement, a movement cannot thrive on individual brilliance alone. I alone cannot put on what is happening here. Amina alone cannot put on what is happening here. Same with victory, she can't do that. But we need a shared courage. We need our collective strength for that to work. So this is all collaboration is about. There is need to be that shared purpose. There is need to be trust. Empathy needs to be there, and there must be that mutual respect. So asthmatics technique once said that unity is strength. When there is teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved. Like these cohorts cannot go on if we didn't collaborate, if we didn't have that shared purpose, if we didn't trust each other, if we didn't encourage each other, if we didn't put our collective strength, we all wouldn't have been here. Okay, so this is what collaboration is all about. For example, I can remember one African proverb saying that alone you go fast, but together you go far. If you want to be going fast, you can walk alone. If I want to be fast, if I want to be ahead of someone, if want to be ahead of you all, I can go fast. But when I want to go far, when I want to reach that destination, then I have to work together with a team. I have to have that team. You have to collaborate for that. And I could also vividly remember during our cohort, Mr. Nonso once mentioned that when we come together, we become strong. Just imagine if you raise your voice alone for something, for example, to say an injustice happening, what would happen? Like maybe no one will even listen to you. But when you come together, you become strong. They said like what did they say? I forgot this saying, but in Hausa they said that um I don't know how to translate this, but what I'm trying to say is that when we work together, we become stronger. Like we become unbreakable. Anyone that wants to surpass through you will have to surpass through all that people surrounding you. So this is what collaboration is all about. Now let's talk about reconciliation. Since we know that yeah, we need to collaborate, we need to work together, then what about the broken trust? What about the time that we were hurt? Can we still go on when all this happened? So that is why I said, what about healing that thing that divide us? So I'm going to ask you this question, and of course you can drop your, since we don't have that much time, you can drop your answers in the chat box. What do you think is harder for you? Is it saying I was wrong, admitting that you did something wrong, or is it saying forgive me, asking for forgiveness? Which one is harder to say? Like people all have their own different perspective. Like which one was harder for is harder for you to say, when you're wrong, admitting you are wrong, or when you're wrong, asking for forgiveness? Let's drop our answers in the chat box so that we can see how all of us differs, because we all have our own perspective. I might personally like I might be having issue with admitting I'm wrong, or I might have issue with going to ask for forgiveness. So which particular one, you can drop that as I said in the chat box. Okay. Nelson said neither. Johanna said it was hard to ask for forgiveness. I trust that because it's really hard to ask for forgiveness. Admitting wrong is harder. We said admitting you're wrong is also harder. And the funniest part is that for you to do the two, you have for you to do the later, you have to do the first one. For example, I cannot come ask for forgiveness if I didn't admit that I'm wrong. So this is what reconciliation is all about. So reconciliation always starts with truth. It starts with courage and empathy. That is where it comes. You tell the you are wrong. Yes, you did something wrong. Then you have the courage to go and ask for forgiveness. And the one that was being asked for forgiveness, sorry, should have the empathy. That person should put himself in the shoe of the one asking for the forgiveness. If he is the one, how is he going to feel if someone comes to ask for his forgiveness and you were denied that chance? What will happen? Okay. So another thing we should know is that reconciliation requires acknowledging past pain and seeking healing. We cannot say we are going to reconcile what deep down we have that hatred for one another. I used to call it individual hypocrisy. Sorry. Sometimes we'll be calling reconciliation. We want to reconcile, but deep down we still hold that grudges. So we have to acknowledge the past pain. Yes, it happened. Yes, you hurt me. Yes, you did something that was wrong. But still, I admit that has happened. But I'm going to seek for a healing. So this healing will always happen through truth telling and shared mourning. Yes, we come sit together. This happened. This particular thing happened. That particular thing happened. But still, we need to reconcile. We need to come back together, right? So McDonald described reconciliation as the process involved in bringing two parties together so that they will regain original friendship and coexisting between them. So one thing to note here is that one important thing I want us to note in this definition is that in the initial there is that trust, okay, but along the way it was broken. So that friendship was there, but it was broken. It means there was an element of friendship even now, but something happened and it was broken. I think that is more easier to amend than when you're enemies from the far beginning. For example, let's take the Nigerian Civil War as an example, right? Um, I know that many people have their perspective for this particular civil war, like what happened. My people felt like your people felt my people. That's what I will be thinking. Okay. Oluluwa must be thinking, no, your people also felt my people. Memina will be thinking, no, it's your people that felt our people. I believe that I read about three perspectives about this Nigerian civil war. I read a book of Chimamanda, which was I think half a lesson. I read a story of was it Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, My Life. Yeah, I read about three books, and all three books have different perspectives and talking about all the people. And it's not that they are all wrong. No, they are all talking from their own perspective. Like I heard from my grandmother that the Igbos did so thing to the Hausas. Okay, and most probably Victory might have heard from her grandmother that no, this so thing that Hausa people did to our people. Then how do we reconcile all this? We need to come together, sit, agree that it happened. Yes, it happened. Your people have felt me. My people have felt you. But what next? Let's acknowledge that. Let's be empathetic and let's leap off. Let's mourn together and let the bygones be bygones. Okay, so this is about reconciliation. I think I want to start something. I didn't forget. There was a time I posted about this reconciliation thing. And a friend commented that reconciliation as a verb is not a performative. Okay, it's not performative piece. It's not something that you have to perform, but it is the work of listening. Okay, and it is the work of repairing and sharing a space. I can see someone commenting. Let me check. Fahad said we can learn from South Africa apartheid situation. Of course, we can learn from that. So if they can achieve that, why not us? Okay. If diverse people can come together, then what is happening to us? Why can't we why this can't happen to us? Okay, so I think this is simply because um this sorry this this situation is a reflection of who we are. Who we are is reflection of what we're getting. So if we're ready for the reconciliation, we're definitely going to get the reconciliation. Now, moving to the next slide, we're going to be talking about new identity. If we reconcile, what next? What are we expecting? So new identity is just about becoming better. But how do we become better? Let's become better together. Okay. So now these are the questions I want us to imagine. Just imagine a society, and that society is built or was built on justice, inclusion, and shared responsibility. How do you think that society is going to be? So with this, I believe that we all have the imaginative image of how that society is going to be, very serene one. So new identity is built through shared values. We need to have that shared values like justice, values like empathy, and values like inclusion. And we should all know that we cannot inherit the identity. We all need to forge it. And how do we forge it? We only forge it with new cultural and civic identities. Let's have a shared identity. Let's have a shared cultural and shared civic identities. With that, then we could have the new identity we all look for. So I want to make an example with the NSAS movement to kind of bring together all the three things I've been talking about, to talk about the collaboration, to talk about the reconciliation, and also the new identity. You know, in the year, I believe we all know that in the year 2022, some Nigerian youth was upright and they come to protest for police brutality. That was, I think, for the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, that is SAS. At first, that movement, it was a powerful example of collaboration. You see people from different religion, tribe, classes, and even celebrities. They united under a single identity, and that identity is that we are Nigerian youth demanding for justice. But what happened? As the movement grew, internal disagreements started emerging, right? Some wanted a political action, others just preferred let's just continue protesting at the street. So there was much accusation, like there is distrust and also lack of clear coordination among them. So what lesson are we going to get from here? Is that the NSAS movement showed the power of collaboration. When we collaborate, we become stronger. When they collaborated, they were very strong. No one dared to harness them, because this is not one person. I cannot just come and harness one person. He has a billion of people behind him, okay? And also, it it shows the risks of fragmentation without reconciliation. At that time that people started to divert themselves, some wanting for political action, other wanting protest. I don't think they come since there is this trust, there is this what do I call it, shared purpose in the beginning. Why not sit down, reconcile, and have that new identity? So if we felt like if we anytime we fail to address our reconciliation processes, then we tend to break from where what we are like. The purpose is going to be is not going to be there. Sorry. So we need to know that movement need more than momentum. Okay, they need trust, they need healing spaces, and a united courage and a united sense of purpose, so that they can last beyond the protest. I believe that at it being they regain that shared purpose. Like they have I did mean they have that healing spaces that when people started when fragmenting themselves, they come and see it and heal. I believe that that answers will have went beyond the protest, the street protest. So let's try and conclude because time is not by our side. So in conclusion, I want us to know that collaboration is not just teamwork, as I said. Collaboration, it is all about it's about you letting go of your ego, I letting go of my ego, the others also letting go of their egos. It's about trusting others and building beyond personal self. This is what collaboration is all about. Reconciliation also goes beyond apologies. When I just come and say I'm sorry, that's not reconciliation. What is deep inside me? I have to heal that. What is deep inside the person I apologize to have to be healed. Okay. So reconciliation is the ability to sit with the discomfort. Yes, I'm discomfort with that. I'm not comfortable with what is happening, but I will sit with it. I will hit that wounds and I will restore the unity. So that is reconciliation. And we should all know that collective identity does not erase our personal identity. Rather, it expands it. When we see ourselves not just as I, but as we, then the struggle will become shared, and also the victories will become shared. Remember, we are not just the inheritors of past, right? But we are also the architects of the future. So for us to be architect of the future, we have to be us. We have to be we. We don't need to be I. You don't need to be you. We need to be us. We need to be we. Okay? So I'm going to leave this to all of us that we are not here to repeat the history. We are not here to repeat the history. There is no need of repeating the history. You can find the history in history books. We can find it in the fictions. We can find it in the non-fictions. Everywhere history is there. But what about we write a new history? What about we rewrite it? This is why we are here for. So thank you all for listening. And of course, I have an assignment. I have something that I want you to deliberate. And this is how it's going, okay? All of you are going to your groups. I believe we all have our groups. And this is what I want. These are the prompts I want you to discuss in your group. First, I want you to ask yourself, what part of your identity do you think you bring into every space? Sometimes it might be consciously, sometimes it might be subconsciously. Discuss that with your mates. And secondly, what healing or reconciliation do you think is still needed in your community or within yourself to collaborate better? All of you can bring your input to discuss it together because, of course, this is a collaboration class and we need to collaborate, right? And the last one is, have you ever struggled to work with others in a team? Have you ever struggled? If you do, why? And how am I going to get this assignment? I want you people, after discussing, deliberating, working together, figuring out your answers, I want you to write a report on what are common, like the responses that are common, something that is very common between all the rest, like all the fellows share something in common when it comes to answering this question. I want the report of that, and I will get it to, should I say, I will get it through your group lead. Yeah, through your group lead. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm open for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Salamatu. Please, can we celebrate her? Please, let's celebrate her. We can do better. Thank you so much. So please, if you have any question, you can raise your hand so that you ask your questions. I think we have one hand up already. Najibula Yo Musa. So,
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Najibullah Umusa. Thank you so much. So, is it Ms. Salama? Thank you so much for this insightful session. I have a question actually. Looking into collaboration and reconciliation in Nigerian perspective at large and in regional perspective. In Nigerian perspective, that is speaking of the civil war, the Biafran war that happened, While regionally, speaking of the current situation we are facing, let's say in the northern part of Nigeria, issue of this religious and cultural disparities that recently came up as a result of politics. So, like starting with the Nigerian perspective, now that we don't have histories in Nigerian curriculum, like at secondary school level, where the main history will be taught, the truth history supposed to be taught. Actually, I have an experience of like from this part of the country to the other part of the country, histories are given to younger ones, like a different form of histories. A histories that trigger hatred, not even speaking of like reconciling. And then speaking of regional in terms of religious disparities that came up recently as a result of this political politics that we are having in this country, how do you think we as youth, like as future leaders, or to say as leaders of today, because that's what I'm seeing myself. I'm not a future leader, I'm today's leader. How do you think we can help in like in heralding the real history of Nigeria that will bring about reconciliation and collaboration towards national development? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Najib, for that question. And let me be honest with you. I was expecting this question. Why? Because this is what is happening, and this is what we need to talk about. Yes, I believe with you saying that history in Nigeria is not taught the way it's supposed to be. Like the people, the generation are getting it, like not from the perspective of reconciliation, but from that of hatred. And of course, that's why I mentioned, like, I read three different things about the Nigerian Civil War. And it's three different, or like, the only similarities is that, yes, this thing happened. Yeah. So I think as an individual, and of course, let me put this before I answer that question, like, reconciliation and collaboration is not like it doesn't work in Nigeria or it didn't work in Nigeria. It does, but it was not yet achieved. So to answer your question, I think as a leader, a young leader, should I call you that? I think to build reconciliation and collaboration, you will need to start with listening. When I say listening, you listen just as you mentioned that you went to other parts of Nigeria and you heard what they were talking about, and you were in this part and you heard about it. So listen to it, digest it. Host conversation about the divide and across the divide. Like host conversation, start conversation. Another thing you need to do is partner on community project with those you wouldn't normally work with, right? Try to collaborate on your own basis. Try doing that, because what I believe is that um how do I put it, working slowly, like small acts of collaboration, it's always the thing that um bring about and build big trust. You need to be intentional with what you're doing. Start it within your immediate community. Like you have a friend, that very friend might not necessarily be from your region, or might be from your region but not from your religion. Now start listening to the story of that particular person. Have conversation about the divides, what he think about, like what happened about the divides. Partner with him to solve some issues that we think are relevant. Because with that small act of reconciliation between you and that very person can bring the big reconciliation and the big trust we wanted to build. Like that person, this particular person can go ahead and maybe forward what you people have did to another person, and that person might forward it to another. No, this is the perspective we follow. No, this is what happened. No, reconciliation can be achieved. I hope with this I've answered your question because time is eyeing me, and I'm very sure Shem will start talking now.
I was already talking, sir, because you have finished your time in answering one question. All right, I think Harry's hand was up since. I don't know if we can, in 1 minute, in 1 minute, please, because your time is up already. And then I think other
Okay,
questions will be asked in the group. Okay,
okay.
Mr. Harry.
Okay, good evening. Once again, my name is Anujir Henry. My question is to the facilitator. We are talking about reconciliation. If I could remember, I know that time I wasn't, I don't know, not grown up, but I know there was a effort during Obasanjo's time when he formed the Oputa panel. And after then, I think the confab, the national confab during Obasanjo's time, and another one, the recent one during Goodluck Jonathan's presidency. And like, since all these efforts towards reconciling Nigeria, like the
Hello, Mr. Harry. Are you there? Seems he has a network challenge.
Yes, kind of, I think.
All right, please, can you, the rest of us, can you drop our questions in our WhatsApp group? I see Sir Shamsuddin dropped a question here. He said, on the issue of reconciliation, I always find it difficult to seek for forgiveness. How can I train my mind to admit my wrongs? Please answer him in the WhatsApp group. I think because of time. Okay, Mr. Harry. Okay, if he's not here, he should also ask his question on the WhatsApp group too, so that it will be
Hello,
attained
good
to.
evening. Sorry, do you refer to my own Henry? You know, we had two Henry in the group.
No, not you, sir. Actually, the one that was asking question.
Okay.
Yes. So
Okay,
he should
okay,
ask.
okay. Sorry, my network. Okay, it's okay. That's just my question. What's the way forward now for Nigeria? What's the way forward? Is it to renegotiate Nigeria, and or what's the way forward? And like some of the uh, result of the conference, like the Goodluck Jonathan conference, he left. They did not implement it. What's the way forward? Are we to like push for implementation of all those things that most Nigerians then sat and discussed? Oh, we have to reconvene another national conference to renegotiate Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much, Harry, for that question. And Mr. Shem, can I attend to the question? Sorry.
Yes, 1 minute.
Okay, I will try. I will try that. Okay. Uh, because the question is really an important one and a hard one too. Let me admit that it's a hard one. So the truth is that you see, reconciliation and collaboration are long and complex process. Like, as you mentioned, Nigeria has made efforts like the dialogues, the peace building, and the interfaith forums. But all these efforts have, should I say, failed or have not reached the grassroots or are not sustained somehow, yeah, are not sustained. And to me, I think the reason why they are not sustained is because real collaboration requires more than just government programs. It requires more than just speeches. Like, it should be intentional. We should be intentional. It needs trust, and trust always takes time. This is what I believe. So it also needs accountability and commitment from both the leaders and the citizens, and that also takes time. So reconciliation cannot just happen in a night, okay? But I believe there is hope. There is still hope. Just because it hasn't fully worked yet, as you have mentioned, doesn't mean that it cannot happen. Like, we have seen things like we have seen success things like for example, the youth peace clubs, the community dialogues after some conflict. And of course, we have seen something like the interreligious marriages and so on. So maybe the question we should be asking, as you just asked, is that how can we make it work this time? And I believe to make it work this time, we need to start with ourselves. Just as I've answered, was it Najib? Najib? Was it Najib? Yeah, I answered Najib the same way. Like, we need to start with us. And this is the way, like, this is the only way forward for us. This is the only way that we can have that reconciliation we all needed. Uncle Shem, I think it's 1 minute, right? And I hope I
Yes,
answered your question, Harry. Sorry,
you have passed my
I'm
1 minute.
taking on time.
All right, thank you so much. Please, let's continue the discussion on our WhatsApp group. So let's drop our questions there and then it will be attended to. Please, can we celebrate her again? So it was an awesome moment taking the